Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Adventures with the Romance Author, me. And today we have an interview with prolific author Devin Sloane. We'll be back in a moment. Stick around. Hi, guys, and welcome back to Adventures with the Romance Author, of course, me. And today, our wonderful guest is prolific romance author Devin Sloane. And we have her here with us on a Zoom so we can ask her questions and get to the bottom of what makes this author tick. Hello, Devin.
That'll be good. Hi, it's good to be here. Wonderful to see you again.
Yes, and we'll be seeing each other soon at a signing coming up in Toronto. If you want to come out and meet us, we will be at Ignite Your Soul August 10th. Yes, August 10th. I believe it's the Delta Hotel Airport in Toronto. So come out and check us out. We'll be there. In the meantime, let's get to know Devin. So, Devin, can you tell me about yourself and your writing?
This was actually the hardest question to answer because when you ask me to tell you about myself, I don't know. Do I tell you about my children? Do I tell you about my husband? Do I tell you what I've done? You know, maybe I'll just tell you where I started with this. Is when COVID hit, everything shut down. There was no children's programming. I wasn't running all over the place, and my head was filling with ideas, and like a lifelong dream of writing just kind of poured out of me. So that's probably where I could start. Is that I'm a romantic at heart. I'm full of ideas, full of stories. My mind never quits. It's always spinning, which is helpful because I am juggling a husband and 4 kids.
Yes.
But they're older now, so it's getting easier. I've been married for 30 years.
Aw, and there's a romance in itself. 30 years?
30 years, yeah.
Good for you. That's wonderful. And a lot of things changed when COVID happened. Same here. You never know what you can do until you're forced to think outside the box.
Or when you're given a chance to breathe a little bit, you're not running so much.
Exactly. Now, how many novels are we working on now for you? Roughly?
I am working on the Sage Ridge series, so I've got this is the first one, A Lifetime of Afters, and then the second one is Every Bit as Perfect, and then the third one, No Sweeter Madness, is coming out. Well, I have the release date is June 6th, but I'm going to move it up.
Okay.
Probably to May 30th or even May 15th.
Oh, very good. So soon. Good for you. That's wonderful. I have Striker coming out next month too, so we'll be sharing that.
I find it hard to hang on to them once they're done. I
Yeah.
want them out.
You want people to read them and share them.
I do. I want to release them to the wind.
Yep. You want your words to touch people.
I do.
And that's the most important part. That's why we're romance authors.
Yes.
We want people to feel.
We want them to feel. I want connection. I want to connect with people. There's nothing better when I get a message from a reader saying like this touched me, or if I read a review, which I tend to stay away from, but every now and then I go in there.
Yeah, I tend to stay away from them mainly as well, just in case.
Just in case, because the ones that are a little more critical are hard.
It's hard sometimes.
Romantic hearts are not very thick-skinned.
Oh no, we're quite breakable. I commiserate.
I do love it when I get a review that says where somebody says that they learned or they were able to process some of their own feelings and issues through reading about something that reflected them. So I love that.
It touched them
so much.
It touched them. They could relate to it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's wonderful. Now, do you have? I know this is like saying, do you have a favorite child? Do you have a favorite book?
I did my best to answer it.
Okay.
I'm going to say that I have one that was the most fun this one was the most fun to write because I was kind of having like a lull. I was having difficulty getting going. So I tapped into my ARC team and I was asking them questions, and I played it like a choose your own romantic adventure. So there, a lot of my arc team's names are in here. Like my
Oh.
secondary characters or side characters are named after my arc team. They named the rescue cat. They named much of the places in
Oh.
Sage Ridge. So that one was the most fun to write. Um,
Nice.
this one was the biggest surprise because I kind of like again I thought that I would do the same kind of thing, but the art team didn't get involved that time. And then this one became a joy, like just such a joy to write. And then this one, my first one, was the one that was easiest because it just poured out of me like water. So I don't have a favorite, but those ones stick out for those reasons.
Yeah, they're special in their own way,
Yes.
just differently.
They're all special in their own way. I have
Exactly.
feelings for all of them.
Now, for your books, what inspires you? And have you ever felt like giving up?
Okay, so first of all, music inspires me. A
Mm-hmm.
lot of my ideas come from music. If I'm going for a walk and I'm listening to music or something like that, and then a lyric will just a whole scene will erupt in my head. So
Mm-hmm.
that'll be kind of huge inspiration for music for sure. And have I ever felt like giving up all the time?
Yeah.
Honestly, all the time. It is um, it is hard work.
Mm-hmm.
It is really hard work, and it's the um, it's not so much the writing part of it, but the marketing and the graphics and the all of that because I want people to read my work,
Mm-hmm.
and I want to get it out there. I I love them. I love my books.
Yes.
It's so funny to say that, but I do. I just love
They're
my
your
books.
babies.
They're my babies.
Yes.
And so that's the hard part is trying to, I guess, juggle all the rest of it. Like there's so many
Mm.
aspects of the business that you're trying to juggle, especially as an indie author,
Mm-hmm.
that there are times where I feel like throwing up my hands and just saying, I'll just write. I won't do anything else. I'll just write.
Exactly. With all
So yeah, so I
people
would
don't
say
know
that's
all the
my
bells
hobby.
and whistles that go on behind.
It is. It's a lot. It's a lot. I had no idea.
Mm-hmm.
I had no idea when I started how much there was.
To do writing isn't the end. It's the beginning.
It's not. It's not. It is the beginning, and it's hard. It's easy to get distracted. It's easy to get distracted by everything else that you think maybe you should be doing, or
Mm-hmm.
good intentioned people might say, "Oh, you should do this. You should do this," and you see that they're doing well or they've had success in this, and then you're just like, "Okay, okay, that's what I'll do," and then before you know it, you're doing like 17 different things and
Yeah.
none of them really well.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the part that gets me sometimes.
Yeah, that would be difficult. So, Devin, can you tell me what a normal day in your life is like?
Like Monday to Friday, the kids are well. My youngest is in school. Two of them work. One of them doesn't live at home anymore. So I'm pretty free to write normally from about 8:30 until 2:30, and then after that, it's the normal mom stuff:
Yeah.
picking up kids, driving kids around, making dinner, looking after the pets, all of that stuff, and then sometimes I can get back to writing after dinner for a bit, but usually I'm done by 2:30.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, that's
Weekends
amazing.
are different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I'm looking at the list and you're quite prolific. You guys got to look into this. Like, you should see the series. Like, there's one, two, three, four series. And then, as well, she has a book Bible series to help authors keep track of their own characters in series. Let's talk about that. What made you want to create a helper for us authors?
Okay, so it was purely selfish because I have fibromyalgia and ADHD. So my attention span can shift very quickly, and what memory I have is foggy. So what I'm finding is that all those details like last names, birth dates, exact
Mm-hmm.
ages, who's pregnant when, you know, I can't keep
Hair
track of
color.
them. Hair color, style, business names,
Mm-hmm.
where people met, all of these things that kind of you have to um, manage because your main character in your fourth book might have shown up in your first book, and
Mm-hmm.
you can't change their hair color. You can't.
No.
Well, maybe you could. You can't change their eye color. You
Yeah.
can't change their height. You
Or
can't change
somebody's
their
going to call
personality.
you on it.
They will. Yes, yes, they definitely will. So I couldn't keep track of all of that. So I started writing it down in notebooks, which I lost. So with it all being in one notebook, I'm hopeful that I'll be able to keep it all together. So each one, like I've got one for, I don't have them all published yet, but I've got a book Bible for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 series. So a single book, a duet, a trilogy, all the way up to 7.
Yeah, I noticed that. If you go on Amazon, guys, and fellow authors out there, they're available for sale. Take a look at it. I was quite impressed by them. That's why I wanted to bring them up. So let's get back to the other questions. That was just a surprise question I just threw in there because I've looked at them today.
Surprise away.
Now, we did mention the one upcoming event in Toronto. Do you have anything else coming up?
Not this year so far. I mean, if something came up, I would consider it if it was close to home, I guess. Next year, I've got hopefully Romancing the Falls comes back, and then I've got Windsor next year. I think it's called Rose City, and then Romance in Toronto or Love in Toronto or something like that. I can't remember what it's called, and then Ignite Your Soul again next year. So 4 next year, 2 in Toronto, 1 in Niagara Falls, 1 in Windsor.
Oh, busy next year. That's wonderful. And do you have a website?
I do.
Wonderful. What is it?
DevinSloane.ca.
And will that be a good way for people to get connected to you and find out where you're going to be?
Well, it should be, you would think.
It's one of those extra things we were talking about other than writing the book.
I do have to do better with that. I think I spend most of my time, honestly, on Instagram, just because I find it so much easier. That's where I started. And
okay. And is that just Devin Sloane on?
DevinSloane.author.
.author on Instagram. That would be the best.
And I've just started to kind of warm up my Facebook with an ARC team and a street team and
very good.
my Facebook page. I'm starting to try and spend a little bit of time over there too.
Right. Nope. It's hard, when you're doing it all yourself.
It is. And then I do TikTok as well, sporadically. That's a tough one because that requires a lot of work, I find.
Well, gosh, to keep track of all the social media and every book release and oh my goodness, it's hard to keep straight. It is. It's a lot for any one person.
It is. It's a lot, but that's part of it, right? So,
yeah. And you mentioned you have an upcoming book you're going to be releasing in May. Could you tell us more about that?
Yeah. So it's the 3rd in the Sage Ridge series. It is Noelle is the heroine in the first book. Her brother Max. This is his story.
Okay.
The Sage Ridge is their single point of view, told from the heroine's point of view. And Max fell in love like 20 years ago with a girl from his hometown, and he got cold feet, got a little scared, and ran.
Oh.
They went back to school. They went back to university. Their separate ways, and then Ren was brokenhearted and ended up becoming a little bit of a party girl for a couple of weeks and got pregnant, and then that was kind of just changed the direction of her entire life.
Right.
So this is them working to find their way back to each other.
Oh, that sounds
and Ren
wonderful.
Working to, rectify some of the lies in her head.
Yes. Oh, that's wonderful. That sounds so exciting. That's in May, everyone. Keep that in mind. And you just had some wonderful event happen on Amazon.
I did. It was fun. I got a book deal just for Canada, and I got the number 1 in the bestseller list for later in life books in Canada for A Lifetime of Afters. So that was very exciting. Lots of fun.
Wonderful. And that is actually the first book in your Sage Ridge, which is the book that's coming, like a subsequent book coming in May.
Yes.
Wonderful.
It's on for 99 cents right now until the 21st. That was part of the book deal. And I just kept it on there.
Well, you guys heard it. If you want to get into this series, it's available now. You can start 99 cents. What you got to lose? Seriously.
If you like the emotional stuff and getting into the nitty-gritty of complex feelings and past situations and stuff, then
wonderful.
This is the stuff for you.
Oh, go check it out. Everybody's got 99 cents. Come on. Now, what's your favorite place you like to write? Like, do you like a specific place every time, or do you like to move around?
I don't move around too much. Like occasionally, like if I'm finding myself like finding it difficult to concentrate, I'll get serious and go to the
Mm-hmm.
kitchen table.
Mm-hmm.
But usually, I have a corner in the family room, the couch, and I just wedge myself into that corner of the couch, and I have a lap desk, and I go.
You go. That's wonderful. Sounds like me.
Yeah,
Wherever you are
it's
in the house.
yeah, yeah. And there's been times sometimes I write in bed with the lap desk. I mean, I've written on my phone
Mm-hmm.
in places when I've had nothing else. I've jotted down notes everywhere, but those I do tend to lose, so they're not. That's not
Paper.
a reliable source.
Yep. Done that.
Yeah, but for the most part, I'm in my corner of the couch in the family room.
Wonderful. Now, do you have a specific trope that you like to revisit? Like second chances, that's come up a few times.
Yes, yes. I think probably second chance romance is probably my favorite.
Mm-hmm.
Probably, I do I like Grumpy Sunshine, and I mean, I like most of them. To be honest with you,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not crazy for surprise pregnancy, but I have done it when it when the characters when that's what the characters wanted, kind of
Mm-hmm.
thing.
Yeah, it's where it led.
It's where it led,
Yep.
yes. But I really do love second chance romance.
Sometimes, yeah, those characters will take you on a little ride of their own and tell you where they want to go. Happens all the time. You think you're going this way, and suddenly, who or a new person shows up? Who are you? Where the heck did you come from?
Like, absolutely. It's funny because when I'm starting a book, I'm like, I don't even know where to start. I don't know
Mm-hmm.
these people. I don't know what they're doing, what they're about. And then usually when I get about halfway through a book and I'm really starting to feel the characters, and then I go back and then I fill in like, oh no, she wouldn't have said that, or he wouldn't have said that. He would have said it this way, and then I can kind of bring it. And then once I know them, I mean, I'm getting near the end of the book and I feel like they're family and I really know them, and then I have to say goodbye. So,
Right.
but yeah,
Oh.
they do. They take it where they want to.
Yep. And we're back, guys. You'll notice that on my screen a moment ago, it told me I was running out of time because we were on a Zoom meeting, but we reinitiated a new Zoom meeting, and here we are again. We're back, and we're with Devin Sloane, and I just wanted to continue our conversation by asking you, could you tell me a little something about your books?
Okay. I write, I would say, I straddle the line between women's fiction and contemporary romance. Um, each of my books, they're character driven. It's a woman's journey mostly. Sometimes the male main character also goes through a huge transition, a huge arc as well. Um, but it's mainly more of a woman. Even when the men are going through something, it's almost more about how the women respond to it. Certainly for that, but they're also very much contemporary romance. There's always a happily ever after. They are very spicy. I'm fascinated by the role of intimacy in a relationship.
Nothing wrong with that.
Part of it, all good stuff,
Yep.
right? So open door. So they really do straddle the line between women's fiction and spicy contemporary romance.
Ooh, very
and
nice.
There's a lot of themes like mental health is a strong theme running through almost all of them, if not all of them.
Well, that's good.
All of them. Definitely all of them. Themes like loss and grief, and agoraphobia is one, and there's another one about OCD, and
real relatable topics. It's not a fantasy. We can relate to these people.
No, I think my tagline is real life, real love, real messy. So
yeah.
So that's
because it's not real perfect.
Perfectly. Yeah.
It never is. Never is. Aw. So, what plans do you have for the future?
Writing wise? Well, I want to finish the Sage Ridge series first. That's my plan. So the third one's coming up, and I have 4 more I planned in my head.
Oh, wow.
And then I'm going to go back to Mulberry Place and write that series. That one's a little heavier, for sure, than Sage Ridge. I want to finish that one. And then there's another series that's whispering away in the back of my mind that I might pick up after that. But that's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's 8 books down the road. So I can't think that far ahead. Otherwise, I'll get distracted.
Oh, exactly. Sort of like that
Also,
pile of books on the side of your, bedside table that you haven't read yet, and then you go buy a new
spirit
one.
calling you.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And then I've also considered, like sometimes I feel like I want to write something else, just something different, a change. So I've thought about either taking on a new pen name to dive into something else,
Mm-hmm.
or
A different genre.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
a little bit, a
Yeah.
little bit. There's two that I'm interested in. I'm not sure what I want to do yet, so I'll
Oh,
just.
no, it's very creative, the whole process, and
It
where
is.
you're drawn. It doesn't have to be strictly one area at all. It doesn't have to be strictly contemporary romance. It can be paranormal. It could be, historical. It could be anything you want.
We're creative people, right? So
Yeah.
mine kind of. I mean, we we don't like to be boxed in or kept in a certain
No,
space.
we
You know,
don't do well in
so
that.
no,
That's what my whole channel, my YouTube channel is about, basically, is, follow the adventures of the romance author as she does all kinds of things but write romance.
well, you're actually a perfect example of that because you've done so much. Like we were talking about that, how much you've done, and your other pen name, and
Mm-hmm.
the number of books you've had, and so
Yeah.
you're a fabulous example of that.
Yeah, it's when you're creative like that, it's hard to just pin it down to
It
one
is.
thing. You have to
It
be able
is.
to spread it, or else you start to feel a little
Spread our
stifled.
wings a little bit.
Yep. Now, how does your family feel about your writing and your books?
My husband's read everything I've written,
Aw.
every single thing. He has favorites for sure. Um, my kids, they are supportive. They're
Mm-hmm.
not allowed to read them.
Not yet, not yet.
Not ever. Not ever. Not yet.
No,
Not ever.
no.
Not ever.
Never pick up mom's book.
Don't do that. You don't want to do that. I just recently told my mom and my brothers, and they've been and my sisters-in-law, and they were quite excited and
Oh,
supportive, and my mom was very proud. So
very good.
yeah,
It's nice
my
having
brothers
that
were very
support.
funny. Yeah,
Oh, good for you. Wonderful.
yeah.
Now, do you have a favorite guilty pleasure? Something that is sort of like a reward for yourself or something along those lines. A guilty pleasure.
I mean, I have a stupid just I'm lactose intolerant. And I eat chocolate.
Yeah,
I'm not sure you call it a reward exactly.
really, you pay in the end, but
In the end, but yeah,
but it is a guilty
sneak that in
pleasure.
sometimes. So I guess that's my guilty
Oh,
pleasure.
food. Yeah, for me, it's like food. I love like going to dinner or something like that. Trying different things. That's one of my biggest guilty pleasures because, it's never good for you. I always want the fried stuff or, I'm not buying the salad.
I love to go to cafes. Like I would take a cafe almost any time over a restaurant. Just
Mm-hmm.
um, the number of people coming in and out at a restaurant. I think I'm more enamored with what's going on around me, like the
Mm-hmm.
number of people. And plus, I like to play, professional author
Yep, the
sitting in a
atmosphere.
cafe writing,
Yep,
setting up
with
a
my
table.
laptop. Yep,
So
I can
yeah,
picture it now.
I will say that's a guilty pleasure is taking my laptop to the cafe
Mm-hmm.
and applying myself with caffeine and writing all day. That's fun. It's a good reward.
Yep. We've talked about this briefly, but how do you feel about self-publishing?
I like it. Like
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I would. I don't know if there would be any benefit in traditional publishing. I'm saying that like completely out of ignorance. I'm going to admit, but
Mm-hmm.
some of the things I've heard are not thrilling. But the biggest thing for me is I like to maintain creative control, and I think that if I was told no, you can't do, you have to release on this date, and we don't like that title, and we want this and we want that, I'd be a little bit put out.
Mm-hmm.
Although I would I would value the expert advice, but at the same time, I don't like being told what to do. So,
Right.
so probably indie publishing is probably my
It's the best for you.
yeah, I think so.
It's difficult, you were saying, though, because you've got many balls up in the air.
It is.
You've
I
got
didn't say I don't want to staff. I would love to have a staff.
Oh my goodness, yes. If you could self-publish or indie publish and have a staff behind you, well, that's different.
Great.
Someone does the editing, someone does the cover, someone does your social media. Dun, dun, dun.
Oh, if someone, see, the social media is I would love somebody to do it, but you do all the posting, and then I'll just come in and talk to everybody.
Yeah.
I love connecting to my readers. Right?
Yep, the fun stuff, not the mandatory, every so many days put a post out or something just to stay relevant, but to actually get to speak to the people.
Yes. Yeah.
I understand that.
I love that part.
Is that your favorite thing about writing? What is your favorite thing about writing?
For writing, my favorite part of the process is editing, believe it or not.
Really?
Because I now have a finished product, and when I'm starting writing, I'm like, oh my gosh, am I ever going to get to the end? Is it ever going to finish? Will I be able to pull this off? Is this story going to happen? Is this going to, is it going to happen? And then when I have the finished product in my hand, I'm like, oh my gosh, it happened. It's here. I can't believe it. And then I can go by and polish it, just make it more what I imagine it would be. And so I think that's the part of the process I like. The thing I love most about writing is just the magic of it. That's a little kernel of an idea just explodes into 400 pages or 300 pages of a love story that people get lost in. I think that's incredible. I love that. And I love it when I hear from my readers. I love that. So there's a lot I like about writing.
Yeah.
A lot. It feeds my soul.
It does
feed my soul.
It does. It does something to you. It would be like missing a part of yourself or part of your body if you weren't able to do it.
I think so.
It wouldn't feel right.
Yeah. I mean, going so many. I was 48 when I wrote my first book. So, the before and after, I didn't know what I was missing. I didn't know that part of myself was even inside that could produce that and develop that. Now that I know it's there, I hope it never dies. I hope I never lose it.
I was 46. See? So no matter what age, my 46 was my first published book. So take it from us, you can do it. Any age, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't. Just sitting down and doing it is the biggest problem. That's the thing. You got to be committed to at least doing it, the process, because it's very easy to just say, I'll get to it tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's very easy. Find it too easy sometimes.
Too easy.
Procrastinating.
It is. One of my favorite authors, I think, I'm not sure exactly who said it, but I think it was Rebecca Zanetti. She said, butt in chair.
Yep.
That's it.
Yeah.
Butt in chair. And I say that to myself all the time. I'm like, okay, when I'm wandering around the house and I'm thinking, what should I write? No, butt in chair. Butt in chair. First step is put your butt in the chair, and then
get in front of that computer. Get writing it down. Get going. It's way too easy, and I've done it too. I've done it. I've been, and put myself in positions where it's like racing, trying to get back where, had I just sat down and done it originally, it wouldn't be a problem. So
I think that's the part about writing I hate the most.
Yeah.
Is when you're doing the writing in your head. There's nothing on the computer to work with yet. You're just running through ideas and you're brainstorming, and it's all a mishmash. I think that's the part that I hate the most.
Right, exactly. You don't have something to show for it.
Yeah.
When I get to write those 2 little words at the end, oh my gosh. Oh, what a feeling.
How many times have you written those words?
Oh my gosh. Well, combined, well over 40, pushing 50.
Yeah, that is amazing.
So it is just a thrill. A thrill. Even though you're going back and editing it and doing all this stuff, it's just the beginning, but it's just the knowing that it's here. It's like you delivered.
Exactly.
Your baby got delivered.
Yes, your baby's delivered.
Yep. Now, here's a good question. If you couldn't write, what would you do?
I think I'd be some kind of therapist. For sure. Most of my books center around mental health issues and intimacy, I would either be like a mental health therapist or a sex therapist, one or the other. And both would be, I think, so much, not fun necessarily, but fulfilling, very
Right.
fulfilling. So
Right.
I think and if I had known when I was 20 that if I'd known myself the way I do now when I was 20, I probably would have gone into like that field of therapy and counseling and that kind of thing.
Well, that's wonderful.
So
Well,
yeah,
it does
so that's what I think
say
it would have been.
our books do heal the soul, and it's a way of doing it as romance authors. You know, too often we get discounted as being fluffy, you know, because we have a happily ever after. Well, I don't see there's anything wrong with a happily ever after. They go through a lot to get to that happily ever after, but still, what's wrong with it? You know, what's wrong with having a happy ending?
There's beauty in the world. There's beauty in the world for a reason. We need it.
Exactly.
We need it. And so if you can provide some of that, if you can create some of that and give it to someone, if you can give them that good feeling in their heart, I mean, we all seek it. We want it. We seek it. We need it. This is a nice, safe place to get it. We want to be seen.
Yeah.
And if we can see ourselves in the pages of a book so that we know that there's someone else there. Oh, that's me. That's someone else there. Knows me, understands me. They see me.
Right.
Even when they're not seeing you, like that's important.
Yeah. Someone else feels this way. I'm not the only one. You know, it takes away a lot of loneliness. And I'm okay with that, you know? I'm okay with all happily ever afters.
Yeah, me too. Me too. They're a guarantee.
Yes, exactly. And as we're wrapping up today, is there anything you'd like to tell your readers?
I would really like to express to my readers what they give back to me. The book is something that comes from my heart, but when people take it, they breathe life into it, and when they contact me and they tell me what my book did for them, it is the biggest thrill. It makes every bit of social marketing worth it. So every bit of editing and everything, it's all worth it. When that one reader reaches out and says that I touched them, that's incredible for me. So I want to thank my readers because you guys are the encouragement I need to keep going. And I mean that in a literal sense, that you give me the courage to keep going and you inspire me to keep going. So I would like my readers just to know how important they are to me.
Oh, that's wonderful. It's true. Without them, there'd be no us. You know?
There'd be a book. There'd still probably be a book and there'd be a story, but
wouldn't be anyone to share it with, to feel it, to share it with, to touch.
Love is meant to be shared.
Exactly. No matter what. Aw, you guys, I want to thank Devin for being here. I'm a fan. You should be too.
I really appreciate you having me.
It's been great. Thank you so much. And everybody, I hope you enjoyed this. If you want to check Devin out, you know where to find her. And I'll have all her information below in the description box anyway, just in case. And remember, we got a 99-cent sale going on right now. Number 1 in the series for that. And then number 4 will be coming out in May. So why not start now? Anyway, guys, I hope you have a wonderful day. And I hope you're being kind to each other. We'll talk soon, everyone. Bye.
Bye.